Hello and welcome to College Russian. This is the alphabet part 3. In this lesson, we will be learning all the kind of crazy foreign letters, and this is the home stretch, so hang in there.
Okay, so let's start up with some of the new letters. They're going to be pretty foreign to us in English. We don't really have anything like them. Okay, so you've seen this letter before. You saw it before. Do you remember seeing it in this word? Let's try and sound it out. Facebook. 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 Good. So Facebook means this letter is English B. I know your brain's kind of going crazy right now because that looks like a V to you now that you're in Russian mode, but this letter in Russian is B sound. So look, it's kind of like RB with a hat. And don't confuse it because Russian's going to have another letter that doesn't have the hat, and it is a totally different sound. So notice the hat. It's like a B with a hat, okay? How about this phrase? Here we go. Я люблю тебя. Я люблю тебя. Do you remember what this means? Something you might say to your girlfriend? I love you. Good. And this one? This is an American city. Boston. Boston. Good. This one? Спасибо. Спасибо, which means thank you in Russian. How about this one? Brat. Brat. Good. Any guesses what this might mean? Brother. And this one? Brasilia. Brasilia. Do you know what country that is? Good. Brazil. Okay, so this is something you might find on the McDonald's menu. What kind of sandwich is it? Good. Big Mac. Big Mac. Okay, our next consonants. This is ts. Remember how I warned you that these letters were going to get kind of progressively more and more funky? Well, here we go. Ts. Ts. So it's like a T and an S together. Ts. Okay, this is a famous Russian word. You'll know it. Don't pay any attention to this thing for right now. It's not a B. It's what's called a mягкий знак, or a soft sign. So don't pay any attention to it for right now. Tsar. Tsar. Good. Any guesses what that might mean? Good, a tsar, like a Russian tsar. Okay, how about this one? Francia. Francia. It's a country. Can you guess which one? France. Very good. How about this one? Mozzarella. Mozzarella. Good. So you can guess what that means. Okay, and here's a question or a phrase for you. So remember this vowel. It makes sort of that crazy sound. Вы американцы? Вы американцы? Good. Are you Americans? Good. Okay, see if you can read the name of this person. Tsar Nikolai Romanov. Good. Do you remember who he was? If you've seen the movie Anastasia, this is the one who got assassinated. Okay, here's another place you might go to eat. What's the name of this place? Pizza Hut Express. Pizza Hut Express. And what is this? Can you read that? Menu. Good. Okay, so let's practice what we've learned so far. These are going to be cities and countries. Города и страны. Okay, I sure hope you know this one. Moskva. Moskva. Good. How about this? This is a country. So just to review, this vowel is the E sound. E. Estonia. Estonia, one of Russia's neighbors. How about this one? Francia. Francia. How about this one? Don't pay any attention to this for right now. I'm just putting my mouse over it to block it. Мальдивы. Мальдивы. The Maldives. Okay, this is a city in Russia. Vladivostok. Vladivostok. Good. How about this one? San Francisco. San Francisco. And this one? Россия. Россия. Oh, and here's another good one. This is a city in America. Cincinnati. Cincinnati. Good. Okay. So, another consonant is this one. It's like two Ks back to back, or maybe kind of like a little bug walking around. Zh. Zh. So it's pronounced sort of like the zh in pleasure. Zh. Zh. Here we go. This is a city in South America. Rio de Janeiro. Rio de Janeiro. And that's in Brasilia. Good. How about this one? Jornal. Jornal. Good. This. Here's a verb for you. Загружается. Загружается. Good. Here we go. This is some cognate words. Джинсовый жакет. Джинсовый jacket. Good. Okay. This is a famous ballet, as you can see. Ballet. And what's the name of this ballet? Giselle. Giselle. And then there's that mягкий знак that keeps creeping up onto words. Don't pay any attention to it for now. You'll eventually learn what it is. Giselle. So in English, it's called Giselle. It's a Tchaikovsky. Okay. So some more consonants. Zh is what the zh that we just learned is called a husher. Hushers are anything that sort of make the sound. And Russian has 4 of them. Okay, so we just learned zh. That's a husher. And here's the other one. Ch. Ch. So, for example, this is an American city. Chicago. Chicago. Good. How about this? This is a country in South America. Chile. Chile. Good. This is one of the first words you'll learn in Russian. It's something people are going to always ask you to drink with them. Chai. 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 Good. Okay, this is a famous Russian. Famous Russian composer. Tchaikovsky. Tchaikovsky. Okay. And now this is kind of confusing because it doesn't actually get pronounced as a ch here, but I'm just going to throw it out there just so you know when you hear this, this is actually how it's written, even though people say it slightly different. So it's что. Что means what in Russian. So you don't say что, you say что. And this is really the only word where this happens. Что. Okay, so что это? Что это? Good. Okay, so let's look. What are these? Can you guess what these are? And then also try and read the different flavors. So let's come right here. And remember this lowercase n is a P. Super chipsy. Super chipsy. Good. Remember how I told you that I and E make things plural in Russian? So there you go. Super chipsy. And the flavor here, I don't know if you can read it. It's a very interesting flavor. Жареный гусь. So, roasted goose flavored chips. How about over here? What flavor are these? These are actually one of my favorite snacks in Russia. They're very delicious. Krap. Krap. Good. And how about this flavor? Bacon. Good. Bacon. So now you know how to go to Russia and ask for chipsy. Okay. This is from the... see if you can read what this is. And see if you can just figure out what it is, actually. I'm not going to tell you. Try and read it and figure out what you think this came from. So let's start up here. Sochi. Sochi. 2014. And then let's read what these are. Snowboard. Half pipe. And this one. Snowboard. Slope style. So, can you guess what these are from? Good. The Sochi Winter Olympics that took place in 2014. Okay, how about these events? See if you can figure out what these events are. So there's Sochi. And how about this? Don't pay any attention to the soft sign for right now. Hockey на льду. Hockey на льду. So what sport do you think that is? Hockey на льду. Good. Hockey on the ice. And how about this sport? Curling. Curling. Good. Okay. So the hushers we talked about before are zh and sh. Okay. Another one is sh. Sh. Which makes the sh sound. Let's practice. This is something you'll definitely want to partake of when you go to Russia. Chocolate. Chocolate. Okay, do you remember, or do you have any guesses what you think that might mean? Good. Chocolate. And you got to try it in Russia, especially the chocolates that are filled with vodka. Those are worth a try, too. Okay, how about this? This is an American state. Washington. Washington. Okay? Russian does not have a W sound, so it usually gets replaced with a V sound. Washington. Washington. Okay? This is a forum I one time found. I thought it was kind of funny that they use an English word. Я люблю shopping. Я люблю shopping. Any guesses what you think that might mean? Do you remember what люблю means? I love shopping. Good. How about this? This is another thing you have to try when you go to Russia. Chipsy, chocolate, and this. Okay, remember this sound, this vowel, y. Shashlik. Shashlik, which is like a, meat on a stick, essentially grilled, and it's just heavenly. Good. So now that we know that sound, we can sound out a few more event boards from the Sochi Olympics. What sport is this? Short track. Short track. Good. How about this one? Самый sport. Самый sport. So I can't remember if that's the luge or the skeleton. But essentially in Russian it's called the sleigh sport. Okay, how about this movie? What's the name of this movie? Shrek. Shrek навсегда. Shrek навсегда. So Shrek forever, maybe? Okay. And here's our last husher. This one's really crazy. We don't have it in English, and it sort of tortures a lot of English speakers because we just don't even know how to make this sound. So this is called sh. Okay, so it is as if you're saying a sh and then a really fast ch afterwards. So sh. And just to warn you, it'll take you a while to hear the difference between sh and ch, and it'll take you even longer to be able to make the difference. And that's okay. That's typical. Russians know it's going to be hard for you. They're mentally prepared for it when they start speaking with you. So sh is the one we just learned. This one is sh. Sh. Okay? So this is another food you've got to try. Sorry, I must have food on the mind right now. Borscht. Borscht. So that's the famous Russian beet soup that you absolutely have to try. There it is. Вот. Borscht. Borscht. Okay? This one. Щука. Щука. Good. Щука. So this is like a river pike. It's a type of fish. And see if you can read this whole phrase. This is a famous phrase from a Russian fairy tale. Don't pay any attention to the stop sign for right now. So this phrase goes, по щучьему велению. По щучьему велению. So according to the pike's will. And it's a fairy tale about a guy who catches a magic pike that grants his wishes. Okay? Okay. So this is that thing I've been telling you to ignore all along. It's called мягкий знак, or the soft sign. Okay? This is really hard for us to understand in English because we don't make this distinction. So you know how Japanese speakers struggle with L and R? Well, English speakers have a really hard time with, it's called palatalization, meaning you're pressing the middle of your tongue up to your palate to make a consonant soft. So anytime you see this мягкий знак, the consonant before it is getting palatalized. And don't freak out. It's going to be really hard for you to kind of hear the difference for a little while, and then eventually you'll start to know. But for right now, just know you're going to see it in some words, and don't let it stress you out too much. So, right as I've written here, it indicates the softness or the palatalizedness of the preceding consonant. So, for example, день, день. Good. So, this N is getting said almost like a Spanish ñ, right? So like El Niño, we have that. We make that sound in English. Dien. It's just weird to have it at the end of a word for us. So dien. So if I were to take the мягкий знак off of this, it would sound probably like this. Dien. But we add the мягкий знак on, and it's going to sound like this. День. День. It's really hard to hear the difference. In fact, I'm not even going to spend too much time on it because it's just going to take some time to start getting used to it. Okay, here's another one. Быть. 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 Good. And I hope to later have a video where I can kind of explain this concept of palatalization a little bit more and give you some practice hearing the difference. So this T is getting palatalized. Быть. Быть. But for right now, if you just say быть, Russian's going to totally understand what you're saying based on context, okay? Don't stress about it too much. Okay, here's another one. So after an L, while you're saying this L, you're pushing the middle of your tongue up to the top of your mouth. Только, только, только. Good. So a big thing here is do not confuse and мягкий знак. Мягкий знак doesn't make any sound. Does, on the other hand. So you can't just skip like I've been telling you to skip мягкий знак. Notice has the little lowercase b with a lowercase l right next to it. Okay. So, woof. Gonna edit that out. Okay. So let's practice the difference between мягкий знак and Okay, so мягкий знак is when it's just the lowercase lowercase b by itself, and is when it's paired, the lowercase b is paired with like a lowercase l. Okay, they're two totally different letters, so make sure you're paying attention to what comes after it so you know how to pronounce. Okay, so notice here it doesn't have the little lowercase l, so okay, it's going to be pronounced like the мягкий знак. If you can't pronounce мягкий знак yet, don't worry about it. Just ignore it completely. Okay? You will eventually get to a place where you can kind of figure it out a little bit more. Here we go. Мальдивы. Okay, so notice how I didn't necessarily make a vowel sound here. I just changed the way I pronounced L. Мальдивы. Мальдивы. Good. Okay. Okay, here, what's happening? Мягкий знак or I? And how do you know? Good, there's no lowercase L, so it's just мягкий знак. So for you right now, as far as you're concerned, it's not going to necessarily change the pronunciation. I'll pronounce it for you so you can hear it. День. День. Good. How about here? Okay, there we see it. And it's got the lowercase L next to it. We know it's the I sound. Студенты. Студенты. Good. How about this one? Oh, no. This one has both. So, which is which? This is I, and this is мягкий знак. So here we go. Let's try and pronounce it. Пыль. 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 That means dust. Okay? Let's see what we can find in this one. Okay, so there's the мягкий знак, because it doesn't have the lowercase L right after it. And there's I. Okay, so let's try and pronounce this word. It's a cognate. Компьютеры. Компьютеры. Good. Okay, and the last and craziest one that actually doesn't do a whole lot necessarily, and you don't see it very often, is твердый знак. This is called твердый знак, or hard sign in English. And in pronunciation, some argue that it adds a little bit of a y sound to the preceding consonant, but you don't see it very often. It's mostly just a morphological indicator. So it really doesn't have a lot of purpose other than to sort of mark morphological boundaries. So let's just practice pronouncing it, and on this extremely easy note, we will end our entire video. So here we go. Съел. Съел. There you go. He ate. And that is the end of the letters. Now let's do some practice. Okay, how about this one? These are going to be American cities. Американские города. Salt Lake City. Salt Lake City. Good. How about this one? New York City. New York City. So there's that мягкий знак right there, but don't worry about it too much for right now. New York City. Okay, how about this one? Oh, we've seen that one before somewhere. Jefferson City. So notice, to make a J sound in Russian, you combine the D and the Z. So if your name starts with a J in English, this is how you're going to write it in Russian, with the D and the Z together. Jefferson City. Good. How about this? Oh, there's that. We've seen that before. And there's a мягкий знак on the end. So let's try and pronounce this. Jacksonville. Jacksonville. Good. How about this one? Oh, there's that de combination again. Los Angeles. Los Angeles. Good. How about this one? Chicago. Chicago. How about this one? Chattanooga. Chattanooga. This one? Cincinnati. This one? Boston. And this one? Houston. Houston. Good. And our last practica, Американские штаты. You should be able to read this whole thing now that you know this letter. Американские штаты. So, do you remember what штат means? You'll figure it out. Utah. Utah. Alaska. Alaska, which used to be Russian territory, by the way, if you didn't know. Florida. Florida. Ooh, this is a long one. Massachusetts. Massachusetts. How about this one? New Jersey. New Jersey. Alabama. Alabama. Washington. Washington. Virginia. Virginia. And this one? California. California. Good. And that's the end of the alphabet. You made it through. Make sure to look for more videos where you can practice your reading skills and start to learn more grammar, more about the pronunciation of things, and so on and so forth. Thanks for watching.